When Rob started climbing, he quickly became aware that both indoor and outdoor were a great adventure. Climbing is like a chess game. It involves solving problems and always being aware of what is occurring around you and how to adapt. As he started climbing high peaks, he found that the risks were more intense, and it's really just a metaphor in learning how to overcome hardships. One great challenge is his Graves' disease, a lifelong chronic autoimmune condition that makes everyday life hard and climbing even more difficult. High altitude climbing takes him to special places. Before his sister died, she told him she was afraid of being forgotten. It became Rob's mission to find a way of learning what her legacy was to him.
You lost already? You barely got here? You can't find your way to baggage claim? Unbelievable.
Partners are like flakes of snow. There aren't two that are exactly the same. Each is different, each has their own way. In very few walks of life do humans ever share such high risk and adventure together. Extreme weather, long trips, remote locations all add to the difficulty of finding a good match. These are not just friends, not just fellow enthusiasts. We experience fear, joy, life, death, success and failure, building a special bond. They're a band of brothers and sisters that share a common passion to try things few others would ever attempt.
The Kingdom of Nepal is host to the highest mountain range in the world. Since my sister's passing, it was difficult to find true value in mountain climbing. Losing someone to cancer is hard, but finding a solution on how to cope with the grief is the real challenge. In 2001, I came here with friends to climb Island Peak in her memory. Though not overly difficult, any peak over 20,000 feet is never easy. We ascended through the thin air and reached the summit after 3 weeks of hard work. In the skies above the Himalaya, we felt the warm sun radiate Marie's smile. In 2005, I returned to Nepal to climb the world's highest peak, Mount Everest. Every time here, I stop at the Climbers Memorial. Each one of these chortens, big or small, represent a fallen climber. I asked monks for permission to make a small memorial for Marie. I explained that anyone who fights cancer has the true courage and energy of a mountaineer. The monks easily understood. Though only a pile of rocks, each one of these small stones represent the mountain of heart my sister had in life.
Every moment on trail isn't always a high-stress climbing situation. There are times for relaxation, interlaced with good humor.
Gotta get every aspect here.
Well, you know, ever since I stopped shaving, the girls aren't talking to me anymore. So I figure it's the shaving, not my smell.
The climbers eat a lot of indigenous food, and some people have a hard time with their stomach.
How'd it go?
Oh, great.
Successful?
Oh, yes.
After the 2-week trek into base camp, the team finally meets up. Rob Chang climbed with Dr. Chuck Huss and Dan Smith on Everest and in South America in past years. It's their 3rd and 4th tries for the top of the world. John Gray was with him in 2003 in Nepal and on Alaska's Denali for 2 trips in 2004. It's his first time on Everest. Upper Sherpa is the lead expedition climber. He has the world record for an astounding 14 summits of Everest. The climb would not be a reality without him and his fellow Sherpa staff. One of the key parts of the expedition is the puja, a blessing ceremony that asks the spirits for good luck, an all-day event culminating with the raising of the lungtas, the wind horse prayer flags. Climbing Mount Everest involves almost 2.5 months on the mountain. The team scales to 4 higher camps over this time to adjust their bodies to the extreme altitudes. Heights reaching to the highest point on Earth, an awe-inspiring 29,035 feet, almost 5.5 miles above sea level. Starting at base camp at 17,300 feet, the Khumbu Icefall is one of the most formidable obstacles first encountered. A massive moving ice and glacier that shifts downward up to 6 feet a day, this 2,600-foot climb to the first higher camp involves moving through treacherous terrain. Using small aluminum ladders, the team must repetitively cross this dangerous area multiple times. Some stages of the icefall require up to 10 12-foot ladders to be tied together end to end to span enormous crevasses or giant breaks and openings in the glacier. The team shuttles heavy loads of food, climbing equipment, tents and supplies for each camp, higher and higher to establish each respective foothold on the mountain. The danger of being crushed by avalanche and giant blocks of ice the size of buildings is ever present. More climbers have perished here than any other place on Everest. It is a delicate dance of peril, like small ants treading on massive sugar cubes. After 6 weeks of hard work, the team is poised, ready to make a push to the summit. But the slopes of Everest are never easy. By this time, 3 lives had been lost to the mountain's unforgivable danger. One of the climbers, an American, was known to the team. He'd fallen far into a crevasse. Succumbing to the cold, he perished from exposure at the top of the icefall. After enduring another 20 days of bad weather, some of the worst on Everest in 40 years, the climbing season is quickly coming to a close. Members Chuck Huss and Dan Smith make the painful decision not to chance a summit attempt in such conditions. Rob Chang, John Gray, Upper Sherpa, and a small team of Sherpas push on, knowing they will only have one opportunity to fulfill the goal of reaching the top of the world.
Get them sharp for the Lhotse face. Getting ready tomorrow. There we are, almost at the head wall, about 900 feet up from Camp 2, another 1,000 feet or so. A lot of hard work.
The team makes the perilous journey up the Lhotse face, a 5,000-foot ice wall that is one of the mountain's most intimidating features. Climbing at these extreme altitudes, the body is attacked from the lack of oxygen. At Everest summit, there's 70% less oxygen compared to sea level. Without acclimatization, you would die within minutes from altitude sickness. Cerebral and pulmonary edemas are a constant threat. These deadly ailments cause damage to the brain and lungs, basically drowning a climber in their own fluids. There is no rescue here, only the team members around you, and the will to climb higher, and more importantly, the strength to make it back down. At Camp 3, the climbers are battered by horrendous weather. Over 100-mile-per-hour winds from the jet stream make survival a matter of life or death.
"26,000 feet, baby." John and I and Will and the Sherpas have got up here. Rob had a bad regulator and a broken mast, but managed to make it. Little slowpoke, but see if this little storm blows over and get our chance at the shot. It's been a heck of a day, heck of actually the last 48 hours. Probably the hardest physical thing I've done, mentally too. But good teamwork. We're being safe. It's a round trip expedition, so we'll see how everything goes. On Everest, I learned that Marie's legacy is the energy I have to inspire others. It's a great tribute and memorial for her to know my footprints are now hers on every mountain I scale. She will never be forgotten for as long as those who listen to this story find their own Everest in life and learn to share the value of courage, strength, and love the same way she showed me in her battle against cancer. It's time now to live again so that her passing will never be forgotten and her life will always be cherished.